All right, welcome everybody to Stock Analysis Friday. Today we're going to be looking up stocks that are of interest to you, and I'll be basically able to give you some type of analysis based on technical analysis and software that I use. So welcome. All right, so if you're going to give me any stocks, just type them in the comments area and type them in capitals. Makes it easier for me to see. And a couple announcements before we get going here. Next week, we're going to skip next week and then take it up the week after. I've got some business meetings on the next Friday. So with that, without further ado, let me just go through some administrational items. And when you type in your stocks, please type them in capitals. And probably best to do no more than 3 at a time. That way we can keep the flow going. You can type in as many times as you want, 3. And then tell me also if you're long, short, or considering the stock or whatever. And we can do ETFs too. And that way I can tailor the analysis so it's specific to your needs, okay? But anyway, welcome. Happy Friday, right? All right, let me go through the administrational items and start out, of course, with the risk disclaimer. In the markets, there are no guarantees. We deal in a realm of probabilities only. Past performance doesn't guarantee future performance. And any analysis I give you here on a stock, please run that by your financial advisor, all right, to be sure it's suitable for you. I don't know your personal situation. They'll know your tolerance to risk and so forth. Always invest and trade with risk capital. That's really important. That's money you can afford to put in the markets. And then also, when you go into the markets, it's a good idea to know what your goal is, what you're trying to achieve, where your profit level is. And likewise, also know how much you're willing to risk to achieve that goal. All right. So that's all about risk control. And I have several books I've written on money management and risk control. So if you're new to trading or investing, or just want to brush up on how to do that better, those books are a great place to go. All right. Let's see. What else can I tell you about the markets? I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, so let's go on to the books. A couple books on money management. I think that's a great place, especially for new traders to start, because depending on your style and strategy or edge, which is what you want to try to develop in the markets, you're going to need money management regardless. My new book, The Art of Trading, is now out. Been out for a couple months. Some nice reviews are coming in. So if you've read the book or have the book, please help us out and put a review in there. People like to read those to see what people think of it. But I'm pleased to announce that so far reviews have been great on it, and that's what we like, right? All right, so Elliott Wave Technique Simplified is another good book on the Elliott Wave, which is a form of technical analysis. And that one was published by McGraw-Hill. My new book was published by Wiley. Survival Guide for Traders was also published by Wiley. And that's all about running your trading business like a hedge fund right from your home and all the technology available today. All right, so those are available. I'll put a link in the recording for those, or you can just go to our website or go to Amazon and type my name in. All right, so when we look at stocks, we're going to be using software I've developed over the last 30 years of trading in the financial markets. And we have charting software, which you'll see. We have also scanners. And we have risk control software. So that's all available, and you can check that out as well, too. All right, and then finally, give us a like out there. And the first thing I want to go over before we get into individual stocks, you can type those in now. I see a few coming in, is I just want to go briefly over the markets. So we have been talking about being at a top for quite some time. And we reached what we call a target zone, an Elliott Wave target zone, based on the bull market we've been in since 2009, basically. And so that I indicated up here in that area here, and between these two blue lines is where we expected the market to reach before we're in an area where we are possibly ready for a reversal and a move down. And the market gave us some information here lately by forming possibly a double top here and here. And then also, too, we had a situation where we had a reverse head and shoulders. This would be the head, this would be the shoulder, and the shoulder. So that usually, those two patterns, when they form like that, the shoulders actually forming the double top, can be a pretty good probable situation of the beginning of a move down. And of course, we got one that followed right down here. All right, so the next thing to ask is, okay, are we done with this bull market that we've been in since 2009? All right, so we took out this support here. All right, so it's everything that had to happen in a top has happened. Now we got to see what the follow through is going to be. And by that, I mean, this was a fairly straight move down. We anticipate a bounce, and we're starting to get that. And then we're going to have to see after this bounce, really what happens. All right, do we get follow through and a trend down developing? Or do we get another move back to the upside? And either one of those is possible. So we're going to have to wait and see what unfolds here. Basically, this is the first time, I think, in years that we've seen patterns at the top here that really represent a top. So I'm trying to keep an open mind here that the market could make one more high. There's many stocks poised that I look at that certainly have corrected a lot, but also have another high in the cards. So based on that, I'm a little skeptical of whether this is the beginning of the big bear market. And when I say the big bear market, what I mean is basically a 50 to 60% sell-off in the stock market. Some people think it'll be even more than that. But at this particular time, that would be a normal major bear market and correction based on the different time frames that we look at. So we'll see what happens with this. I think it's okay to do swing trading here. I think I would hold back a little bit before taking any positions on stocks that have been extended to the upside and I'm starting to pull down. Tesla, we want to look at Tesla today because Tesla has pulled down a great deal, and we want to see if that is done or not. So we'll get to that. But anyway, that's just a general forecast I like to share on this thing. And then also S&P very much mimics, all the indexes are pretty much the same in terms of a big move down and still now waiting to see what's going to happen. And, in all the, both the Dow, the S&P and the NASDAQ, they've all broken a trend line that's been in place since 2024. So that means something too. Okay. And you can see the break in the trend lines and targets have been reached on all markets. So stay tuned. Bitcoin really quickly. All right. What's interesting about Bitcoin is, again, it sold off here. I'm putting a buy zone here and another move up. Bitcoin has been kind of an interesting journey, so to speak, simply because it's many years ago, I thought Bitcoin would be a place people would go for safety when the stock market sold off, but really it's more of a currency play than anything else. And so if it's going to make another high, does that mean it's going, because it has been following the stock market, does that mean the stock market's going to make another high? It certainly would indicate that possibilities of that, one more high before a major sell-off. So that's another thing that's making me a little skeptical about the stock market being in a big sell-off. The other thing, too, is if the dollar erodes at all or things get really bad with the dollar, then you could see Bitcoin going up quite a bit, too. So, this is very generic. We had a lot of fair value gaps down here in gray forming that actually have been taken out now, and now it's free to move up. So currently, I would look at this as a buy zone anywhere in that area and a sell zone when it gets to 114,000 to 137. So the buy zone was around 86,000 to 71 in that area. And you may want to start trickling it in. Again, talk to your financial advisor. Don't bet the farm on it, but that's kind of what the analysis is showing. In real estate, another asset bubble here. Currently, this is the Case-Shiller index versus the CPI, with the Case-Shiller index being in red. CPI is a line under here in black, and basically measures inflation, whereas the Case-Shiller is the average home prices in the United States. And this was the financial crisis, and this is where we are now. So I don't think it takes a genius to realize that we're stretched, and the housing market is due for a severe correction, like the stock market. The question is really not a matter of if, it's a matter of when on all fronts. So we'll have to stay tuned and see, but that's kind of an interesting chart. So anyway, I just like to share that each week going in to give you kind of an idea of the overall situation of the markets on different time frames. All right, I'm going to start out with one called UNG, and just a quick reference here of what you're looking at. So this is my software loaded actually on 3 individual charts. This is a 60-minute, daily, and a weekly chart here. So same symbol on all 3 charts. And I call this multiple time frame analysis simply because I'm looking at the same market on a short-term aspect on the far left, which is a 60-minute chart, an intermediate aspect here, and a longer-term aspect here. All right, so if I was getting ready to buy investments, I would want to make sure the long-term chart is favorable and then try to time it better with the lower time frames. That's kind of the idea. Up here, we have the scanners. We're not going to be using those today, but those are how I find stocks. And we have a more report where I actually use that to find stocks as well. And then we have the software indicators here at the bottom. You can see those down here, as well as the triangular pyramids for capturing the fractal moves in the market. Okay, so that's kind of where it's at. All right, now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about UNG real quick here. So this is the ETF that represents natural gas. And I've been waiting a long time for it to bottom and start to move off the bottom. And it's doing that now. It's pulling back, expected it. We've had a very big move, really up off the bottom to 12 bucks to $20. And so now you're seeing some profit taking. So I'm not concerned about the pullback, but I think it's probably going to give you a good opportunity to get in or add to your position. It hasn't quite turned around yet. I'm seeing a little bullish divergence on the OWL momentum indicator here, which is one of ours that we look at for divergences, and we're starting to see that. So this trend down here is this trend down on this time frame. And so I think we're getting probably close to an area where it's going to turn around and head back up. If we grab a few fibs here, you can see we're kind of close in that area. It looks like we may have come down to the fib area. It may go a little further. So before we get a rebound. So the idea would be in this area, turn around and head back up. Now, the interesting thing is we had a first move up and a pretty good size retracement. You usually get about 100% retracement on the first move. So we got that, and now we've been off to the races. So I'm thinking this would be a buy zone. All right, we're kind of in it now. So if you wanted to think about doing that, this was one I wanted to recommend to everybody to have some interest in, okay? Again, talk to your financial advisor, see if it makes sense for you, and get his take on it. The other thing I like about the ETFs on commodities like natural gas is that it's not an equity. So if the market sells off, it may not have much, impact on a commodity like UNG because we're starting to export that. So a very interesting take. Okay, so not a bad place, I think, to put your money, but again, run that by your financial advisor. Okay, enough of that. Let's keep going here and see if I can get to ones coming in now being typed. And the first one here is, oh, Stuart, good Tesla. I was hoping we'd look at that one right away. All right, so let's see what's going on. So you're long on Tesla. Hopefully you just got in and you haven't ridden it all the way down. But a couple things with Tesla. I don't think it's quite ready for a buy yet. All right, and I say that simply because of the fact we have a red PTF. Now, the PTF is an indicator of ours. It has an accuracy rate of about 75%. And it's indicating when it's red that the bottom's not in. Okay, so we got to be careful. Now, And with that take, you've got a green one over here, and it has not gone red. We're going to watch it because if it goes down severely anymore, that may turn abruptly red, but it's still green, indicating that after the correction is over, we should have higher highs. And, you know, Tesla is, I know it's been going under, obviously, a lot of problems due to the things Elon's doing and so forth and so on. But, I don't think they're bad things, actually. I think he's doing some good stuff out there. Anytime you can root out corruption, I think it's a good thing for everybody, right? But also, too, you know, on the horizon here, Tesla's doing a lot of work in robotics. And I think robotics really is going to be the place to be in the future. So I'm pretty excited about Tesla long term. And I think you're going to have a tremendous opportunity to buy into Tesla. You know, if you wanted to start trickling in now, that's fine. Dollar cost average in now. But I think you'll be able to get a better price a little later. But I think, you know, I think it's a stock of the future. And I think robotics is going to be a big part of that play, not to mention all the other stuff they're in. Okay, so that's it. I would wait for another move down, okay? All right, CELH. Let's take a look at that. All right, so on this one here, I don't see a red PTF, so I'm liking that. I see a kind of a nice move off the bottom here. So that was good. Got a big pull down, green over here. All right, so I think probably short term, we got a little bearish divergence starting to develop in this leg that we've been in for basically since March 13th, which represents this little move off the bottom. So we may get a little pullback to 31 or something on this. For just some normal zig and zagging in the markets, representing profit taking. But yeah, I like it. Okay. I would actually, I think this has got a long way to go to the upside. So if we take a look at this here, all right, we can see it starting to turn around on the weekly chart. Oh, excuse me. On the weekly chart, it looks like we've taken out this area here. So that's a good sign. We got a trend up now since we've taken that out. We may get a pullback, but I don't think the pullback is going to be that significant. So here's what I would recommend. I recommend this one as a buy. Okay, I think this is really, really good. And you're watching that one, Stuart. So I think, yeah, I'm thinking that's really good. All right, so that's one I think I'm going to recommend to everybody. I'd put your stop pretty far under. Allow for this pullback. So let's put it right here at 26. And you probably can use an option if that's too far. Or you can draw some fibs in on this move up and make sure you have it below this pyramid here. So put a stop right around 29.87. All right, that's 5 points. Okay, so that's a go. Nice job. All right, let's take a look at your next one, RKLB, and see what's cooking with that one. And you're watching this one as well. All right, so that's still populating. All right, quickly in the weekly chart, we've had a pullback, not unusual when you have a big move up. Let's just take a look at this big move up here. All right, so we've had this big move up, not unusual after a big move up to have the pullback. This is why you don't want to chase markets. Is it better to get in here or here? Okay, obviously here. So don't chase markets. They call that the FOMO, fear of missing out. So we don't have a red here yet. We've got a big move down here. So the correction may not be quite over. And let's see what we've got here. We still got some red here. We do have green over here. So let's draw some fibs on this daily chart and see. Okay, so it hit the fib. So that's good. I would probably wait at this time for this to turn green, this indicator. So this is a wave 3, an Elliott wave. This is a 4, and this is a 5. So this is a buy zone right here, okay? So you could buy anywhere within that zone. If you're trying to time it perfectly or you want to get it in with the momentum going up, then you can wait for this to turn green over here on this indicator. And then you should be in good shape. You've got a pyramid here as well. So the fact that we have a green over here indicates short term we're going up. So I'm going to put this one. I think we're going to get the green coming in the next maybe a couple weeks. And since this is a buy zone, I'm going to put this one now down as a buy. All right. So now what's interesting here is we've looked at two stocks, CELH and this one RKLB, and they're both buys. A couple weeks ago, we weren't saying we didn't have a lot of buys, right? And the fact that these are going to make more highs stands the case that the market itself in general is going to make another high. So when I look at stocks poised to make another high, and there's quite a few now compared to the way it was, I'm not so sure we are in the midst of the beginning of a bear market. I think we may have one more high on the markets, because that certainly would make sense with more highs on all these stocks we're starting to see. So just keep that in mind. All right. I think I got them all. Okay. So we like, out of Stewart's, we like CELH and RKLB. Thank you, Stuart. All right. Let's keep going here. And Janice, you're the next one. Okay. So KMB, let's take a look at that one. Reversal bar entry. Okay, so you're long on this one here. All right, this one here, what makes me, boy, that's a very volatile. Look at that. Ooh, that's a tough ride you have had there, Janice. All right, so up and down, up and down. All right, so we got a red PTF here on the weekly chart. So that does not bode well for holding this long term, okay? And basically that indicator here, which is why I love it. Again, don't forget, it's got a 75% accuracy rate. So that's saying it should go below a 110, okay? So we're sitting at 140 now. Doesn't mean a couple of years from now it couldn't be higher, okay? I'm just saying it's got some problems ahead, probably over the next year or two. So that is one I would probably, if you're in it and you want to dump it, if it goes, if you want to try to stay in it a little longer for whatever reason, maybe it'll make a new high before it goes down. You can put your stop at around 135, okay, below this point here. All right, that's kind of the way you could play it, or you could just get out. All right, it's not one I would want to be in. I will say that. So this, if you're holding this long term, you can certainly talk to your financial advisor about it. But from a technical aspect, not so great. Okay, so that's where I put that one. All right, NVO, let's take a look at that one. I think the real opportunities are the ones that have sold off on this big move down we've had, and see if we're going to get a turnaround. All right, NVO, you're also long on. Hopefully, I don't know how long you've been on this, but it's gone down 50% roughly since its high last summer. So hopefully you didn't ride that all the way down. All right, so if you've been in it for this long, all right, the ride down may not be quite over, but you also may be near the bottom, because if you look at the weekly chart here, that is a wave 3 up. This is, basically the wave 4 correction long term. And, it looks like it's pretty much over, okay? You're in the target zone for that. So again, I think it's going to go down further. I don't think it's done yet, and I certainly wouldn't be a buyer here, but I may put it on a watch list to see if it turns around, okay, or trickle in if you want, because it is in the buy zone long term, but this would not be a trade to hold for short term at this point, based on what I'm seeing here. But if you're already in this for this long, you may just want to stay with it. All right, PLTR, let's take a look at that one for you. And fairly long. That's a good one. I like that. Fairly long. All right. So on this one here, you got a little bit of movement still available here to the downside. We can see that here, and also the PTF hit the target zone once. I would not be surprised, trying to look for an AB pattern in this. Yeah, I don't see it. So I think this is a 3. This is your 4. I think maybe possible we could have a brief ABC here, but I'm not really sure. I want to see if that holds, but maybe we might get that before it goes as well. So the way I would play this, where it could go from here or go down a little further, is this is the buy zone here. And if you wanted to start trickling in, meaning that if you had a bunch of money you wanted to put into this, but we think we may go down a little bit, but we're not 100% sure we're going to go down below this bottom, you may want to put a little bit in until we get a bottom and have it turn around. But I think the idea here is in the buy zone, you can do that. If you're not in the buy zone, you shouldn't do that. And then the possible high would be probably take out this high here and go a little bit further, maybe like 140 to 160. All right. So with the red PTF, I'm not going to recommend it to everybody yet, but let's put that on the watch list for next week. Okay. All right. Thanks, Janice. Those were good. All right. Let's keep going here. SEPN. Let's take a look at that one. And questioning along on either one of these. So let's see. All right, not much history on this one. All right, it's kind of tough to get a take sometime unless there's decent history. No long yet, though. We've got a red PTF here, and we've got now a red PTF on the 60-minute. So looks like it's might have another leg down. Doesn't mean you can't get a retracement here, but there's too much red there. Okay, so no go on that one. ATLX. Give that a second to load. Oh boy, wow, this one really moved down here. I haven't looked at this one. All right, so nice, almost 100% retracement. Look at that. All right, so it's still loading on the 60-minute. And what do we do with this? I think it's probably in a bottoming area here. I don't think it's quite a buy yet. All right, so what I would do, we're starting to see a channel develop in this area here. So keep an eye on that. All right, and let's see it. Let's get a pop out from that and see if that happens before thinking about it. Okay, but yeah, I get it. Okay, again, watch list for that. All right, Stu is back. All right, Tesla reboot, cool. Yeah, robot, yeah, cool. Good morning, Jim. How are you doing? All right, Jim's going to take a look at SH. Give that a second to load. All right. Ooh, nice bounce off the bottom with some follow through. I like that. Waiting for the 60-minute chart. On stocks we really haven't looked at before. It takes a little while for that 60-minute to fill in. Shouldn't take that long though, but it is. It is what it is, right? All right, so looks like nice move off the bottom, and we got a couple things here that look good. Green owl here. I don't see any red on these. I'd like this to get loaded to see. All right, we have a pyramid. We've taken out the trend line down and all the pyramids to the downside. So that looks good. We had a nice move off the bottom, move down. So let's just see on that move down. We may want to wait for another pyramid to the upside on that, but let's take a look at that. So we did hit the retracement buy zone on that leg up. The only thing you have to realize is on these first legs up like this, let me just get rid of this, that it is possible to get 100% retracement on that move. All right, so if you're in wave 1, wave 2 can end here or go down 100%. So you always have to keep that in mind. So you have to have your stop pretty low under the bottom here at this particular point. And that's only 4 points, okay? So that's not that big a deal. If it has options, you may want to just use an option. And I use options if the stops are too far away for what I want to do with it. So I'm going to recommend this one. Okay, I kind of like it. I think the 60-minute chart will be okay with what I'm seeing on the daily chart, even though it's not loaded yet. So I think that looks pretty good. And yeah, I think next thing, let's see where this baby could be going. Let's see where a target could be on this. I mean, you know, look at that move down. All right. So let's just be devil's advocate for a minute and just say, all right, I'm not expecting new all-time highs, but where could this go short term? And we're talking 48 to 53. All right. So there is some profit there. Risk to reward, we'd have to get to that upper range on there for it to be really good on the risk to reward. But I think it's still pretty good. I think it's okay to do that one. So I'm liking that one. Thanks, Jim. All right. A couple more here. Let's see. We got SEPN. Let's take a look at that. Well, you guys are coming in with some real good ones here. All right. So not much history on this. Al likes his stocks young. All right, Al, let's see what we got here. All right, so still got a red. I'm not sure if we look. This looks like the other one we looked at. But yeah, no go on this, Al. Red PTFs there. ATLX. I guess we looked at this one already. We did both these already. You typed it in again. Okay, no worries. All right, I'm going to move on. And Jean's, yes, she's right there. NVIDIA. This is a good one, Mark. All right, NVDA. NVDA. Let's see what we got. Give that a chance to load. Boy, the data gods are slow today. Don't know why. Come on, load her up. Okay, let's see what we got here. Looking for a buy at 190. Well, I'm thinking, let's see what we have here. Trying to get a gauge on the correction and where it should end. So let's just give this a fib here. I think we got a little bit more downside on this. All right. So I would let it go down a little further. See on the daily chart and down here, we have a situation where we have a downtrend in place. Okay. And you can see that on this chart too. So in that case here, I would wait for that trend line to be broken, and we have not hit the target on the weekly chart, the fib target. So this would be your buy zone in here. So I'm thinking bring this back. It may not be there next week or the week after, but bring it back because maybe in the next month or so, we'll get into that buy zone, and that buy zone is roughly between 98, actually $100 down to what, $65. So don't go in it yet, but let it retrace a little bit more. Okay. All right. So let's keep going here. All right. Yeah. Mark meant below 100. Yeah, I agree, Mark. Okay. I kind of figured you meant that. All right. So keep going here. Frank is, oh, Alexander. Hello, Alexander. All right. Silver, SLV. So SLV is the ETF for silver. And we actually are recommending silver in our more reports. So more reports are basically a forecast plus a market take. Okay, we look at the markets very closely on a weekly basis. All right, I got to figure what's going on with this chart here. I'm going to get rid of it and reset it. Let's try it. Let's duplicate this window here. Actually, I don't want to duplicate that window, but okay. So we'll move this over here. And then let's set this up on silver here on a 60 and see if that, sometimes the charts get corrupted a little bit, you know. Okay, so that's better. All right, we'll see if that works now. Because those other, for some reason, that just stopped loading on that 60-minute. All right, so back to silver. All right, we like silver. All right, we had it recommended. It was basically down in here. We had a situation where we had a fairly nice channel. And we also had, at this point here, we had a form of a pennant forming here. We had one here and then one down in here forming. So when it broke out of both of those, it was good to go. And that's where our recommendation came in. And we still got a green PTF here. It's moving up. And I think probably eventually, if the markets get jittery, I think silver will be kind of like gold, a place people will go for safety, so to speak. So I anticipate this eventually breaking its high of 45. All right. But you can see it doesn't move very evenly. It's kind of a little bit volatile. So this is one I think is better to basically look at this more as a longer term hold. Okay. LABD and possibly a hedge against a bear market. All right. LABD. Now, in talking to bear market, once again, I do think the stock market is going to go into a bear market. It's the timing that we're trying to get right on that. Okay, I think maybe possible one more high before it sells off, unless it just keeps going down and takes out those zones. All right, so we looked at this one before. Our target is 1440 up to 20, and certainly a buy at this point. We had a really nice situation. We had a pyramid forming here, okay, put us in pretty early. But then we had a nice move. If you missed that, it came down to a fair value gap here, and then bounced off that. So basically, there is a whole theory out there actually trading is based on the theory of trading fair value gaps. And so when you get a move up, it creates the fair value gap, and the move up is so quick that some orders don't get filled. And so the market has a tendency to go back to that area to fill those orders before resuming. And that looks like exactly what had happened here. So I don't think it's too late to get in here. All right. You certainly could do that. There's a lot of volatility here. So I think what you want to do is probably use the pyramid on the weekly chart because there's less noise, and put your stop here. And you certainly got a nice, this is your risk, and this is your reward. So you got a nice 2-to-1 risk to reward. But I wouldn't get too concerned about, once you buy this, and you can buy it right now, is put your stop under there. And then don't be so concerned of the choppiness you may see on a day-to-day basis with this. So let's put LABD as a buy. All right, because I like it. And there you have it. And that pyramid low, all right, is going to be basically, let me just get you a price for that, about $6.10. So put it at about $6. Okay. All right. So that's that. And your next one is, let's see, SOX. Okay. SOXXS. Oh, if I type it in right. SOXS. Every time I see SOX, I think of the Red Sox. Okay. So this one, nice bottoming. Basically it's an inverse ETF. So when this market implodes, that will go up. We're certainly seeing it go up yet. What's interesting about this, and what's so confusing about the forecast is, are we going to make another high? A lot of stocks think we will, that we've looked at today. But then you take a look at this, and this is turning bullish, which does so in a bear market, right? So a little bit dicey here. All right. Yeah, this is looking pretty good on a lot of fronts. Got a little bit of a choppy bottom here. Oops, sorry. And let's see what we can do here with this. All right, so let's just talk about some basics here. All right, can I draw a trend line in here yet? Can I draw a trend line like that, or even like this is what I meant to do? Is that technically a trend line? Not yet. And why is that? Because we don't have a higher high here yet. All right, we haven't broken that structure. So that technically is not a valid trend line. So we're still, until I can get a trend line on that, I'm not going to recommend this, and this thing could still fall apart. And we've got two areas here of interest. We have this area here, okay, and we've broken out. Then we had another little area down in here. We took that out right here, okay. So I'm anxious to see if we can really break out of this channel. If we do, that means the market is going to probably do not so good. But let's keep an eye on it and see. I would not do anything with it yet, though. All right, let's see. Frank, how are you, Frank? Okay, Joe. You're long at 14.99. Let's see what we got going on here. All right. Bullish reversal bar entry now. This is an interesting one. See, it's not loading that well on the 60 minutes still, so that's a data issue. I don't think it's a chart issue. All right, so we got a lot of spottiness going on here, which means the liquidity is bad. So that's kind of interesting. Thinly traded, as you note. I don't think I would do anything with this. Okay. And I think there's better stocks. Okay, so stay away from that one, Frank. That would be my recommendation. Okay, PRCH. Let's take a look at that. And I'm going to wrap it up here pretty soon because I like to do this for about half an hour, and I'd start the clock after we do our market analysis. So we're getting up on that. All right, so let's see what we got here. Long on this one. Let's see. All right, no, I don't think so. I'm a little concerned right now that we may get a pullback. This is a pretty bearish bar right here, Al. All right, so maybe we can revisit this. Let's see if this bottom holds. Maybe it'll come down here, but also it's possible it could come back down below. But that's we'll see, okay? Because usually like a 3 here, you get a 4. So this would be a buy zone for a short. That's a dumb thing to say. Let's say a sell zone, not a buy zone, sell zone. Okay, and it could go down there. So, and I wouldn't sell it yet because we still got quite a bit of green over here. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. All right, let's see what we got. All right, I'm going to finish up, Janice, with you. Alabama. Let's see, LAAB. All right. So again, another example of a big sell-off here. And so I don't know if you've been long. I think you've been long. But you've already ridden it down this far. And the interesting thing is it went right through that fib retracement area. And this should have held, and it did not. This is why you got to be careful of just outright buying sometimes in these zones. Wait for the turnaround first. But in any case, right now it's still coming down. All right, so I can't recommend it as a buy. All right. And let's see. So you're long that one. Boy, I would like to have had you gotten out on this pyramid. I mean, the pyramid is a beautiful trend up. You could have drawn a trend line, but look at the pyramids. So folks, if you're not familiar with the pyramids, basically what we do is they isolate fractals in the market, which are changes in behavior, pivot points. And so we use the bases as stops. Okay, so that would have taken you out right around the 120, 3 line or 25 line. All right, and then had you short here. Okay, you would have been short since here, and your current short stop would be right here. So you made a lot. You could have made a lot of money up and quite a bit of money down. Okay, but at this time, since you're already long, boy, I don't think it's done coming down. I'm kind of I don't think I would get out because you've got a green PTF on the weekly. So after this draft down is done, we should get a move back up. Okay. So I guess stay with it if you've ridden it down this long. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at your next one, S. All right, so let's see what we got here on S. All right, well, at least the red PTF went away here, so that's a good sign. All right, well, right away, just draw a trend line. You got one here you can draw. Okay, so you do have a little bit maybe of a move up, no more red PTF. So maybe it has done what it's going to do. This also could be a nice ABC. So this could be a bottom. So hold that one. Okay, you're okay on that one. And then finally, Meta. And Meta now looks to me like, okay, we got green PTF, some more highs coming. But we definitely have moved down. So we got a pyramid point here. Okay. If we went below there, then we're probably going to head down to a fib zone, which would be this area here, 492 to 339. So you have another area. You have a little bit of a downtrend in play here. And let's see where that zone, I guess I'm telling you for a stop, could be here. All right. So possible with the green PTF, we could get one more high, but I put my stop here in case this thing comes down. And even if you get one more high on this, which is pretty significant because we're talking 586 to 750. So that's nothing to sneeze at, right? That's like a 50% move up there. So I would try to hold it and see if we can get one more high on it. But if we don't, then the next level down, if it continues to break these levels, could be 492 to 339. Okay. All right. I think, let's see, I'm going to let's take one more Eleanor here, and then we're going to call it a day. Okay. BOW. Let's see that. I'll take a quick look out in the video too. All right. These will be the last ones I do. All right. So BOW, don't like to leave anybody out. All right. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good for a long. There's not enough history for me to really tell you where it's going. And I think it's late to get in. That's my only concern with this one. So I probably, while I think some more highs are coming in here, we're also getting up to an area where we could see a retracement. All right. So if you went in here, draw a trend line. Okay. Draw a trend line straight up on this micro like that. And if we break it, you can get out. But if it continues to surge in this micro channel, then you might get a few points out of it, obviously. I don't think it's worth it, though. All right, you're talking 44. Maybe what are you going to get? Another 10% out of it, maybe? So I would wait for the pullback. And you'll probably get a pullback. If it pulled back today, you probably get it around 36. But I do think it's poised for a lot more highs. It's just a question of a target. I don't know where the target's going to be. So that kind of makes me trade it a different way than normal. All right, RYAN. Let's take a look at this one. All right, little brief pullback here. All right, so it looks to me like based on the red PTF here that we probably are getting to do something like this. So I think no long on that. Okay, I think it's getting ready to sell off a little bit. All right, and then finally, whoops, don't know what happened with that. All right, so the next one is BROS. Okay, hold on one second. All right, BROS. And let's see where we're on this one. Okay, so it broke the trend line. I think we looked at this one already. So in this case here, looks to me like we might, all right, be coming down a teeny bit further, but not so bad here, all right? So we're kind of in the buy zone here. So we may come down a little further, but this is setting up, I think, to be a pretty good buy. I don't think we're going to do a major correction on this because the owl on the weekly chart is still so strong, and we got green PTFs across the board. So my only thing is here is that I'd probably wait for this to go green, okay? And that means that it would be a buy at that point. So I think if you bought now, all right, you could trickle in, so to speak, but it may go down a little further before it turns around. So if you want to wait for the turnaround, that might be best to do that. Okay. But yeah, it's good. I'd be bullish on that one. All right, Eleanor, that's for you. And Al, we'll finish Al up with NVIDIA. Okay, give me a second. Okay, let's see what's cooking on this one. Still heading down. Okay. If you notice here, we got a target for NVIDIA between 98 and 65. And this is just a great example of why I think the overall market has one more high to go. Because once we get down to this is a 3, this is a 4, then we should have new highs, probably up to around 180 on NVIDIA. So, and NVIDIA is big into AI too. So, I don't think we've got a top in the market yet. I think we're in a correction that's not over. And it looks to me like we'll probably go down a little bit more before we see a turnaround. But when I take a look at these stocks out there, they're all poised. Quite a few of the major stocks are poised to make more highs. So that makes me very skeptical that we're in a bear market. Many people, like, Harry Dent thinks we've begun the bear market. And I don't doubt that we are going to get a bear market. But again, I think one more high maybe because a lot of these stocks looks like they're poised to go up again after this pullback. So we'll see. And we're almost at all the targets on the pullback. So I think we're close to getting this thing worked out. All right, folks, that is it for today. I want to thank everybody for coming. Hopefully information helped you today. So we're going to be back in 2 weeks. Okay. So next week I'm off, and then we're going to pick it up again the week after. So thank you for coming in. We had a good turnout today. Turnout's starting to come up a little bit. Don't forget to give us a like. We appreciate that. That helps the channel. And we'll see you next week. Okay. So thanks so much for tuning in. And I guess let me, what I normally do towards the end here for the last minute is I may put on, let's put on a lower time frame here. This is kind of a fun one to put on. And you can watch the market has sold off a lot and still probably heading down a little bit. This is a 1 minute time frame on the MNQ. So I'll just enlarge that and you can watch this play down. I want to point out here, 1 minute time frame. Look at these pyramids. This technically would have been your first entry. And at this particular point, you would have been stopped out here. All right. And you've had 1, 2, 3, 4. So we don't take any more shorts in this direction. All right. At this particular point, especially since we're in a channel. All right. So that would have been a nice trade, almost from all the way down from, well, let's just take a look at this exactly. All right. So the low entry here would have been around 19,867. So that's roughly 867.75. And this is the futures market with a stop out at 609, let's say 610. So that would be, 57 points. Not so bad, right? At $20 a point for one contract. So I guess, you could do the math on that. And that would be for a couple hours of work. So, the pyramids work really well on this, but you have to make sure you don't take them when the market is not breaking. Okay, that's one of the keys. But in any case, I'll just leave that on. You can watch, get mesmerized by the price bar of movement here. All right. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Have a good one. And don't forget to give us a like.